What would happen if you laid down in front of SCP-173 and closed your eyes? Would he still be able to grab
He'd lay on top of you
just
face down like the
SCP
world's worst cuddle puddle.
thoughts. If SCP-106 is made of a corrosive substance that melts everything it touches, how does he still have a jacket on? And
The jacket's made of congealed barbecue sauce. That's why it
if
still fits in.
SCP-087 is an infinite staircase, can we just throw all of our trash down it and solve the global garbage
No, we're
problem?
trying to do
Get on
science.
board.
That would get in the
What
way.
is the pestilence SCP-049 is always worried about is a disease we already cured in humanity, like smallpox.
We still have smallpox around for testing. We've tried it. It's not
He's just
bad.
so old, he doesn't know that we already cured it. How much safer would containment breaches be if the NTF were always just already...
We have on-site
Do
security,
human SCPs
and their
like
mobile
Blink
task force,
Doctor need to use
MTF.
the bathroom? SCP-173
Yes, they do.
does. So does that mean SCPs get dedicated bathroom breaks every now and
It's a
then?
hard
What would
time.
happen if you looked at SCP-096 and then immediately took amnesetics to forget what
The
it looked
amnestics
like?
don't
Would it still
delete
try
it
to
from your
attack
brain
you
completely,
after you
so he'd
subscribe?
still get
Tell
you.
me, would SCP-173 be a horrible Twitch streamer?
Yes, because the whole line of sight thing only works in person, so on camera it could still move around, but it's also faster than human sight, so you just see an empty room. 682 would unevolve all its eyes so that it didn't have any, so it wouldn't fight 096. But there is the 3008-1s probably would activate it because they still have like a sense. I think. We'll have to study that.
To do, including nearly ending the world multiple times. But if I do one thing with the McDonald's fries at work, I'm fired immediately.
Yes!
What is that?
You know what you did.
Tell me. Can you push over SCP-173 and make
Yes.
it useless?
It would not be useless, it would headbutt your
Are blind
kneecaps.
people immune to SCP-2316?
No, it's more of a full sensory thing, not just vision.
Blind. Stick with me here. If the GOC are sworn to destroy every SCP, what happens when they find SCP-682?
They
If you
lose.
ask SCP-294 for a cup of Joe, it will take a piece of somebody nearby named Joe and put that in.
He didn't feel great
Can you
afterwards.
do that to extract like a tumor from Joe?
It's usually not that
Or take
specific.
a gun or a weapon
You might as well just
from somebody,
disarm them.
Or steal somebody's
Hey, why would you want
wallet.
liquid
After you
wallet?
subscribe, tell me. What happens if you keep SCP-173 in an enclosed glass hamster wheel and then look away from him? Is it free energy?
It breaks the
SCP
glass.
Shower thoughts. What happens when SCP-012 is completed? Like, it runs out of pages. Are people still
It's incompletable. There is no run out of
Do they
pages.
just
We
write
wasted
on
a
the
lot of
floor,
paper
or
testing
does it
that.
become neutralized? When you think about it, the Chaos Insurgency and every other group of interest are really just proof that the SCP Foundation is horrible at keeping...
Half of them make anomalies. That's not the
Tell
same.
me, what happens if you hug SCP-173 from behind and close your eyes? Does he spin around forever trying to get you, or do nothing because he's only ever wanted a hug?
It moves faster than human sight, so no, you just fly off.
SCP-55 is that we don't remember anything about it. How do we know it's definitely not a sphere?
Because remembering what it is and what it isn't are two different mental
So that
concepts.
some people can't recognize other people by their own faces. Does that mean they won't trigger SCP-096?
No, because you don't need to know that you've seen it. Just like 4 fucking pixels, it'll still come after you.
Balls be used to end world hunger?
No, we can't get the meatballs out because the door keeps
Tell
moving.
me. If SCP-173 tries to snap your neck, what happens if you're wearing one of those big suits with the neck protectors on them?
So,
Would it
because
feel
it's a
like
statue and it doesn't really move even when it's moved somewhere else, we believe that it's a limited range telekinesis field, so I don't think the protector would help.
What happens when it looks at 096?
So 096 can sense that you've seen it and where you are from anywhere in the world, so it doesn't need to see you.
055 isn't. Can't we go down a list of everything and use the process of elimination to
That's
find out?
so many things.
It would take some time, but we
It would take infinite time. I appreciate the compliment, but I'm not that good.
If you ask SCP-294 for a liquid that can destroy 682,
We did that. It kind of worked, but we can only get it a coffee cup at a time.
you subscribe, tell me. What happens to all of the fecal matter SCP-173 produces?
You get to ask a secret organization questions and you give me that?
Throw it away or pull pranks on the Chaos Insurgency with it?
Biohazard disposal unit.
SCP-457 is a sentient being composed of flame. What happens when it looks at SCP-096?
096 wins that fight because 457 requires fuel, so it'll eventually run out. We can't destroy 096 yet.
That has every disease in it. Do you think it has the pestilence that SCP-049?
Well, we haven't tested every page because, you know, it gives you the disease you read about, but I'll let you know if we find out.
And put it in front of SCP-173. Would he be
Oh, no, that's no better than a camera, which we know doesn't work, and a mannequin.
Will two SCP-173s staring at each other basically do nothing forever? Or do they get
Go listen to SCP-3220 on the Site42 YouTube channel. There's a fascinating SCP about just that happening.
Can we keep cutting pieces off of him like an infinitely regrowing Thanksgiving turkey for people to eat? What happens?
I'm sure he hated Dad by making his blood acid or something.
Does it move to another IKEA? What happens?
We're
when
not
it goes
testing
to
that.
Every IKEA. Does SCP-3000?
We know it's only one IKEA. If we blow it up, anything could happen. It might move or it might just be gone.
Accidentally draw 096's face. Does he
Can't happen. It has to be an actual representation of its face. Even 4 pixels is still a photograph.
Does SCP-173 freeze if an animal looks at him?
Yes, and also certain anomalies. SCP-131 is a great example. It's a situation where if it's alive and has eyes, it works. But the animals don't know to keep looking at it, so they'll typically get snapped.
Does the Foundation have its own carpenters that are constantly building new stuff?
This is the Batman's contractors for the Batcave problem. We have our own engineering corps, we hire contractors sometimes, and there's always amnestics.
Pocket dimension. Does Shy Guy traverse the multiverse to get to him, or
so 106 is going to come back to our dimension because it has to hunt. It needs to hunt, but
what happens if an
096 would find a way with its senses?
Will Shy Guy attack the computer or just the
No, because the AI in the scramble goggles did not activate 096, although the AI in scramble goggles didn't work and protect our men either.
What happens if you put SCP-173 underwater and look away? Can he swim up and snap your neck, or does he just sink to the floor like a sad concrete?
It will get out. We put it in a room with doors for a reason.
If someone looks at SCP-096 and then gets Roblox oofed and is brought back to life, does Shy Guy still attack them?
Depends on if they have their memory or not.
That bounces faster and faster forever after you throw it. Does that mean you can tie it to a generator of some kind to make infinite energy? If
it's too chaotic, it would break out.
Larry looked at Shy Guy, and Shy Guy was able to get 106. How would Shy Guy eat?
We have an on-wiki story about 106 losing to the statue, so I think it would lose to 096 too.
Bad stomach burn. After you subscribe, tell me. Would SCP-173 be super effective in a Hall of Mirrors because you don't know which one is the real one?
Well, SCP-173 was tricked in SCP-3220 by mirrors, so maybe not.
To see to trigger him. Like if you only look at his chin or just his eyes and nothing.
That sounds like a waste of resources to test.
7 goes outside and it's really windy. Does he just die?
Well, without enough fuel, probably.
173 do against an owl since they can turn their heads 180 degrees.
It can twist it more than 180. It would unscrew the owl juice cap.
Can SCP-173 do anything in space, or is he useless since there's no gravity? SCP.
It can move. It would be more powerful without gravity.
Get angry if an animal looks at his face? What about sentient hive minds like ants?
We haven't tested that, and we're not going to.
If a single worker ant sees him, Newton's cradle is that clicky-clacky ball thing. What happens if you put 4 SCP-018s on it and push one side?
Death.
This commenter wants to know what would happen if SCP-049 touches SCP-999. Would 999 get zombied? Would 049 become happy?
Not risking the boy for that.
Do you subscribe? Tell me. SCP-173 move across a really big hole to get to you. What happens if you turn around and he's halfway over the hole?
Game logic says it couldn't. My interpretation, it moves faster than sight, so it could cross the hole, but it would fall if you looked at it.
SCP-294 and the Cup of Joe incident. But what happens if you order a Cup of Joe and your name used to be Joe, but you had it legally changed?
We believe that 294 follows Fey naming rules, so if you change your name and don't go by it, then no, but if you go by a nickname, then yes.
Sounds like the best deadly sport imaginable. Get on that, Mr. Beast.
It's deadly. Come on.
And look at a picture of Shy Guy, would he still be able to find you, or would he also...
Very yes. Shy Guy could still hunt you down with its senses.
Tell me, what counts as the range for SCP-173? Am I looking at him if I'm like 20 miles
Direct line of sight, and through glass counts, because we have face cards.
Dr. Bright wore SCP-035.
I'm just going to leave you with this.
Dr. Bright, or would Dr. Bright take control of the mask? What happens if you put SCP-1499, the gas mask, onto Shy Guy? Is he going to be stuck in that alternate realm forever? What if you look at a picture of his face? Does he come back with the gas mask?
If there's a way to if there's a door to that dimension, Shy Guy can find it with its senses.
Or the Scarlet King? After you subscribe,
Scarlet King.
Tell me, what happens if SCP-173 looks at itself in a mirror?
173 doesn't actually see, so it's unaffected.
J to SCP-096. Would it make him too late?
096's rage is stronger than the Procrastination Rock's limited effect.
5-4 or SCP-457?
Pokemon rules. 5-4 wins.
Look at Shy Guy's face. Would Shy Guy still get...
999 doesn't have eyes, so 096 isn't activated, but its tickle effect is not as strong as 096's rage.
This commenter wants to know, how would SCP-106 react to the...
In my headcanon, 106 is from there, so no big deal.
Would a chameleon completely dominate SCP-173 since it has a 360-degree vision and can still...
Only if it had the sentience to know to look at 173, so not that helpful.
Would be an awesome Uber Eats delivery guy.
It would not. It would murder you.
If Superman existed in the SCP universe, the Foundation would absolutely try to contain him.
Hell yes. In fact, I have a video. What if Superman was an SCP? How would we contain it? Go watch it and sub while you're there.
The infinite IKEA is a perfect place to store SCP.
No! I keep saying the door moves. It's random. They would get out. It's not safe.
The infinite IKEA is a perfect place to store SCP.
No. Everyone who says this thinks they're so smart, like they're the first person who said it, and no, it's a terrible idea. First of all, we at the Foundation do not get rid of or destroy anomalies. We contain and we study them. We can't study things if they're in SCP-3008, because even though the door in is geographically locked to our IKEA that we have secured, contained, and protected, the door from the inside out moves. It is random. It geographically shifts, meaning if you go in, you don't know if or when you're going to be able to get out. But okay, what if we just get rid of the really dangerous ones like 682 or 096, shove them in there and close the door? No, no, no! These things are basically immortal, which means they're going to live a really long time, and that means that it is a statistical certainty that they will randomly find the door and breach and wreak havoc. So no! Thank you for listening. Site 42 Studios and its staff are funded by viewers like you. Please become a patron or visit our merch store at the link in our bio to support our work. Secure, contain, protect.